Hola guys, ¿qué paso? How's everyone doing? This is Hala Pablo. Thank you for tuning in. Let's look at EOS. EOS. Now you know I don't make videos unless I believe we're about to see a significant move, whether up or down, in select cryptos. And some of you may be thinking, why EOS? Nobody does EOS. EOS sucks. EOS is a scam. EOS is a dead project. Well, I would beg to differ. And I would actually contend that that's what they want you to think. When I say they, I mean the powers that be that govern global finance, and to narrow it down even more, the SEC in this country, in the United States. And also, if you look at the technical analysis side of it, the metrics don't lie. I mean, it shows that there is definitive price action that is following established patterns, trend lines, trading ranges, Wyckofian features that indicate either accumulation or distribution. In this case, I believe the price action of EOS is indicating accumulation. And if we look at the news, see, whenever I see accumulation or distribution unwinding in a trading range, I go to the news to look and see if I could detect a catalyst that might have some sort of bearing on what the price action is showing me. And although this came out in May, it's about a month and a half ago, we see that the developers of the network, those that are working within the EOS ecosystem, have introduced a new consensus to improve the tokenomics of the project or coin, whatever you want to call it. And one of them is they've reduced the total fixed supply of the token. It's clear that they're in competition now, and they're trying to gear up this project. Whether or not it comes to anything remains to be seen. I'm not pushing EOS. I'm not prophesying the moon with EOS right now. But what I am trying to show you guys is that there is reasoning for the accumulation that we're currently seeing on the technical analysis side of this coin. And those of you who know me in my videos know I'm strictly a TA guy. I love technical analysis, and I believe that the price action is king, volume is king, along with price action. Not so much this stuff. This stuff can all, how many times we've seen promises and good news or bad news or whatever, and we think that, we go with our emotions and we try to predict the movement of the asset, whether it be cryptocurrency or forex or stocks, and it does the opposite of what we think. There's a reasoning behind all that. So I don't put a lot of stock in the news. I use the news usually as a contrary indicator. So like for this, for example, if we go back to this came out in May of 2024 this year, and this is good news, right? I mean, they're what are they doing here? If we could just all of these things here that they're promoting: halvings, RAM market support, 80% reduction, fixed token supply, that it was going to manage the inflation rate of the coin, and even the rubric, even the head of this article, EOS Network approves new tokenomics, promises new error, promises. So usually, especially those who have invested in EOS or holding EOS or dollar cost averaging EOS, they see this as, heck yeah, shifting for to a fixed supply of 2.1 billion tokens. I mean, that's really not a lot. If you think about it, 2.1 billion tokens coming down from, I don't know what it was before, 10 billion was the maximum supply of 10 billion it used to be, to a fixed supply of 2.1 billion. So that should, take care of the inflation problem and all that. And so you would think that would be good news. So that happened in May of 24, March, April, May. That was up here. April, no, that was here. Okay, so that was at TRR when we were in this area here. I'm going to put this on a brush so I can just show you how this works. So you would think that was good news, right? And we were at this LPSY stage on this pullback, on this Elliott wave going down here. So you would think it would like rally from here and go back up, take another stab at macro trend resistance. But you would be mistaken, obviously, because it bled out big time from that area on the heels of the good news, and it actually distributed some 50% from where it was. So yeah, when I see good news in these articles and such, usually that's a token of if you're inclined to short, that's usually where you want to set your shorts. Like, for example, if I heard that Burger King suddenly was accepting Zcash, you could buy a Whopper and pay with Zcash, I would probably short Zcash at that moment. Long term, when I say long term, mid to immediate time frame. Because why? The market makers are anticipating everyone jumping in at that point. You remember when Elon Musk was going on to Saturday Night Live a year or so ago, maybe a little more than a year now, and everyone was like, he's going to promote Dogecoin. He's going to talk about Dogecoin. People were buying up Dogecoin. Well, I told my group, don't do it. Don't do it. It's going to crash. And sure enough, after he made his Saturday Night Live appearance, I don't even know if he mentioned Dogecash. I think there were some references to Dogecoin. But anyway, it dumped. It dumped big time. ETFs, news of Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum's ETFs, what happened? It dumped, right? These are good news, so you sell the news. So basically, a savvy investor would have read this. EOS network approves new tokenomics and would have shorted EOS. And they would have made some good money, right? So anyway, now the bleed out, everything was accomplished. The market makers used that good news as a catalyst to effectuate the bleed out. But here now, some time has passed now, 2 months or so, and now we look at the news, and there's really no new news on EOS. So we focus primarily on the technical analysis, and we see that we bled out back down to the macro trend support. Now, whether or not you like EOS or you believe it's a scam or a dead project or whatever, one thing cannot be denied, and that is the price action of this thing. Now, we look at the previous waves of this since we've kind of bottomed. We bottomed on this macro bear cycle, which was back in June of 22. Which I didn't make this the selling climax. I drew the TRR from this point because we saw that this was the bottom for from June 22 to May 23, so almost a year. This was a faithful support line, but then it broke through, and since then it's been a resistance. It's flipped it to resistance, and that's why I've named this area here, the 83 cents, as TRR, trading range resistance. And then, of course, we had the 0.5 fib, and I drew that from the TRS, the trading range support line, where we have our new support, where we bottomed out back in September of last year at 49 cents, where we currently sit. And we look And so from this trading range and this macro trend resistance and support lines, we can track each place the price action has touched one of these junctures. And so this is really important when we're trying to determine a future bias of a trading range, whether it be accumulation or distribution. And so looking at where the macro trend support line and the trading range support lines converge here, we see, especially this last point where we currently sit, we see increasing supply and above average supply volume. We had this spike that came in on the 3rd of August, about 2 weeks ago, a little less than 2 weeks ago, at trading range support and micro trend support, but it failed to produce any significant pullback through these two junctures, despite all the momentum, all the effort that was generated. So there was a lot of effort, but there was little result, and so that's a sign of bear weakness, and it's usually that's a harbinger of another impulse wave that's in the makes, kind of like what we saw here. Even though this was on lower supply, this area here, this initial establishing of the bottom back in about a year ago. So it fulfilled a complete Wyckoff cycle, right? Here's the bear, here's the bull cycle going up to this overbought area above macro trend resistance, and then the sell-off here. Some people call it the ABC. The ABC back down to mitigate the lows, to mitigate TRS, which we see here. We see the price action always mitigating. We see the first mitigation here at TRR, and then a second mitigation on TRR. We have two different kinds of mitigations. We have the trading range mitigations and we have the trend mitigations. And in this case, the TRR is kind of rode along the macro trend support line. Here's another macro trend support mitigation, which coincided with the TRR mitigation in the trading range, another mitigation, and yet another mitigation. And there's mitigations as well at the 0.5 Fibonacci here, 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 and here. Now these are the PSY areas, the primary supply areas on these uptrends. So price action always seeks its own, like water, like I teach. So here and here. So we bottomed here. Now we're again at TRS and the macro trend support line with a sign of weakness coming in. So this is telling me that there is value now again in EOS. After all this bled out, that they sold the news here. Remember the news article that we saw that they cut the supply from 10 billion to 2 billion, and it bled out. And now it looks like, the market maker shorted, but now they're not willing to go any lower. So as Wyckofians, I'm looking at this, and again, whether whatever you think about EOS, it doesn't matter at this point if you're wanting to swing this coin or token or whatever EOS is considered. It has its own ecosystem, so I guess it's a coin technically. So if you're wanting to swing this, which I might swing this. I may wait another day or so just to see what it does at this crucial juncture. But if I begin to see it prevail with demand above the macro trend support line and TRS, come back down and flip it effectually, then we can reasonably expect a liftoff to at least TRM $66, and it's gonna perhaps retest this, which would be TRM, which incidentally this juncture here is TRM, trading range midpoint, and the macro trend midpoint as well, this middle dotted line. So this is a very important juncture as well. And depending what it does here, it could actually take another stab at the macro trend resistance and go into this oversold territory here, like it did here and up here. And if it flips this line, then I'll be looking at wolf wave, maybe doing a wolf wave on this thing. And wolf wave is, we would take a TRR, which is 0.1. This would be 0.2, 3, 4, and wolf wave, you draw a line from the 1 through the 4, and wherever this meets up here, for the 5-wave, we could surmise that this would be the area where we could rally to, which would close out this liquidity, this macro liquidity void way up here at number 2. And so this could potentially take it up to $1.50, $1.60, let's just say, before I would, take profit or sell. Now, had you bought down here, this could be a 240% swing if you have strong hands. You're able to wait for that, but that all depends on what it does here. But for the immediate future, I would either take profit if we rally from here at TRM at $66, which would net you about, why is this not doing this? Oh, okay. I think it's like 23%. Yeah, about 25. Yeah, 25%. 25% short-term swing. If it flips it here, 25% is 25%. You drop $1,000 in, like $220. Of course, you got minus trading fees and taxes if you factor that in. So anyway, all right, that's about all I'm going to do with EOS. I just wanted to kind of show you some of the things I look at. If you like this technical analysis, if you find this helpful in any way, subscription, I'd appreciate it. That way you don't miss more updates. I'm going to be doing other coins soon. I think I'm going to do one on ApeCoin, Algo, Shiba Inu, AVAX, Stacks, Pangolin. I'm going to be doing some more Zcash. Zcash is still up there, isn't it? Zcash is doing all right. I think it's topping out though. But anyway, if you want to hear about what I think about Zcash, subscribe and you won't miss it. So, all right, guys, thank you. None of this is financial advice. I thank you for tuning in. Like I said, subscription, and leave a comment. And I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.